So, hi everyone. I would like to ask you to quickly sort out, sit down, and please be quiet because I have only half a vocal cord and I'm sick. So, everyone can hear me. Um, Now that's out of the way, my name is Radka. I'm gonna tell you about the Valkyrja project. Valkyrja is a silly bunny. It's a reincarnated Valkyrie. She's a powerful warrior that helps protect communities from spam and helps with other community management tasks. So the first deployment was on Raspberry Pi, and the code was optimized for it. So this is basically a chatbot for Discord, and it's running all the time. It's talking to some APIs, and the code was loaded all the configuration and user data and everything on startup. All the work was done in memory, and then it was dumped back into the Slowpoke storage because Raspberry Pi has only memory card, micro SD, and that was done on separate thread. It was okay, but eventually it wasn't enough. Valkyrja kept growing and growing until she consumed all of Raspberry Pi's processing power and memory, and we had to move on to more powerful VPS. And Raspberry Pi optimized code on normal machine didn't quite work well, so it was causing just issues, and it was getting more and more expensive because it was vertically scaled. So eventually I had to rewrite it from scratch. Functionality was mostly the same, just some minor improvements in features. So we went from Mono to .NET Core on Linux. At that point it was 2.0, quite recently actually. And from file storage to MySQL. This is what the CPU usage looked like after that rewrite. There were some issues that I managed to forget or introduce. For example, I forgot one of the most important things when you're working with database. I forgot to add an index in one of the most abused tables. And after I fixed that and optimized the code a little bit better, this is what we got. Plenty of space to grow further. But that's not the end. So because VPS was at that point very expensive, we went to actual hardware. So we started to use, we built a computer, which is a Supermicro board, 2 older CPUs, 2 Xeons, and they can clock together 32 times 3.8 gigahertz. It has 64 gigabytes of error correcting memory. And it's connected through Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8 powered APU2 C4 router board. That little thing in my hand is a really tiny SSD drive. It is 16 gigabytes. This funny board has a standard x64 AMD processor, quad core, 1 gigahertz, 4 gigabytes of memory. It does the job. And the idea is that because of this board, we can actually use failover. So we can use 2 different ISPs in case one goes down. The primary connection is 300 by 300 megabit per second. The secondary one is a little bit slower, but it's mostly not used, mostly never. Hopefully, never. And this is our web interface in development by Eric. And to answer some of the most basic questions about this kind of project, you would ask, why am I not using containers? Everyone is using containers now, right? That's the thing everyone goes for. But I'm using one single host. You don't need containers on one host. And it's just an extra step in the build pipeline. I often push several tweaks or features within a couple of hours. And at that point, it's just waste of time to build a container in the middle. Okay, do you happen to have any questions at this point?
The UI, what is the UI built on?
Eric?
Well, the UI is built with Vue.js.
So the question is, what is the user interface in this development version? It's Vue.js.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, it's a lot of files, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to build something on a website. I can tell you how did I take sysadmin work to next level of lazy. So I've got second chatbot on the server running. It's basically serving as server monitoring, some infrastructure stuff, reports some temperature, CPU load, memory. Then we are also using the same bot, using Tom's dbus library to be able to get service status and restart services through a chatbot. Why are we running Fedora Linux? You would expect any kind of deployment to be on a server-oriented distribution like Red Hat Enterprise Linux or something. Well, basically, Fedora gives me the ability to use the latest stack. It's stable enough, there is no issue with stability. And I don't have to go through all the trouble to get the actual latest stack and the latest packages, like in RHEL or CentOS. You have to add some third-party repositories often or build it from source. It's lazy. C# and .NET. Why? C# is what I've been working with for quite a while, so that's something that I know really well and can write reasonably effective code with, although I'm quite lazy often. And it lets me write the code very effectively, really fast. The user interface IDE basically does all the work for me, unlike with Python, or often there are all kinds of memory management issues with C++. So instead of taking that much time to write it, I take this much time. Okay, that's enough from me. If you happen to have any more questions, I can answer those.
Yeah, what is the chatbot to control system D? This is the first time I see something like that.
Yeah, it's basically a simple .NET application, and it's using Tom's dbus library to talk to systemd, and basically we can do anything through dbus.
It moderates discourse, right?
You mean the primary one, Valkyrja? So the Valkyrja is it's a community management tool because the Discord, the platform, was missing a lot of very basic management features. So like you can often see random spam bots running around spamming the discussion rooms. And it was very easy to do all kinds of bad stuff. So that's why Valkyrja, being a warrior with sword and stuff, can chip them down. It is quite powerful anti-spam and provides other moderation tools that are missing. And we still have a few minutes. I'm too fast. Okay, well, I'm Radka. I'm .NET Core Quality Engineering Lead at Red Hat. If you happen to have any questions about that, or would like to talk about bunnies, Valkyrja project, mountain biking, I'm a mountain biker. You can find me somewhere. You can easily find me. I'm there. Okay, thank you.